Hello, everyone. Today, I am currently 147.2 pounds. That's down a pound from yesterday. I have eaten a pork burrito with a zero carb tortilla. I also had a bowl of low carb, keto friendly, strawberry cream flavored cereal with almond milk. Next, I remember I had a cup of coffee as well. Later on in the day, around the late afternoon, I had a bowl of Healthy Choice beef teriyaki, which only had 14 grams of net carbs in total, a bag of spicy Quest chips, which was 4 grams of carbs in total, and 2 cans of Celsius. One was guava flavored. There was another flavor paired with the guava, but I'm not remembering right now. The other one was apple and cherry flavored. I think I liked the guava one better because it was more subtle. The apple cherry one was still good, but it was more potent with a flavor profile. Of course, at the end of the day, I took my vitamins, and that's pretty much everything I consumed. Exercise today was pretty much walking, a little bit of jogging, and a little sprint to my car at the end of the day after work. Now that we have covered all of our bases for the diet, let's get into the daily update. So, for the daily update, I woke up, and when I woke up, I got a call from my mom telling me that she was bringing gravel in later and needed my help to take the gravel out. She said she would be there in about 5 to 10 minutes. So I agreed. I put on my shoes and I went out there and helped her out. We had to lift the gravel bags. My mom made a funny statement about what it was like. It was like lifting a really big, heavy baby, which I thought was a funny visual. And we lifted them all and put them out into the front of the yard. My mom was telling me that this gravel would be used to be put into the empty space that me and my sister created yesterday for the path for the pavers, to stabilize the pavers and give them something nice to settle on. Once that was done, she asked me if I could clean the pool vacuum, which I did. I took it out by pulling the cord up, and then I just washed I took the basket out. I dumped what was inside the basket, which was mostly bottle brush leaves. I think that's what you call it. And then I decided to wash the rest out with a hose. I put it back in. Then I threw the pool vacuum in once everything was locked in and secure. And I turned it on so it could get to work. After that was done, my mom needed to leave, and when she left, I was told by our family friend that she had ordered 0 net carb tortillas from Walmart for me and my mom, since we're both in the low carb diet right now. I thanked her, and she said she was making a special pork meat boiling on the stovetop. So I thanked her, but I also said that I was quite hungry. So I decided to pour a bowl of keto-friendly cereal with almond milk. I went into my room and I was watching a new Digital Foundry video about snow rendering in video games. This one was different though because normally Digital Foundry videos that go back in time to how video games were rendered are done by John Letterman of Digital Foundry. But this case, it was done by Alex Battaglia. And it was mostly done because it was a sponsored video trying to sell a line of pre-built PCs with RTX 5070s built in. Throughout the video, Alex Battaglia went through various games going with snow in them. That's what the video was about. It was about snow rendering, how it started in 3D rendered games, and how it's evolved over the years and where it is currently at now. I have to say, watching this video was extremely fascinating and very cozy and comforting, especially with the keto-friendly cereal and the cup of coffee that I also brewed with it. There's something magical about seeing technology evolve before your eyes and just appreciating each subsequent jump in the future. It makes me just feel that excitement it must have felt like to watch this art of gaming evolve over time. Really appreciate it. So after that video was done, I was thinking to myself, well, I gotta work on my Infinite Jest adaptation with the animatic, right? But then, before I could shut the TV off and do that, I noticed there was a video that caught my eye called the GameStop Awards. Now, of course, being a gamer myself, and also knowing full well GameStop is probably reaching its conclusion very soon. I mean, who really goes to GameStop anymore? I wanted to know, okay, what are they doing to maintain some form of relevance for this dying, chain? So I decided to click on the video, and it basically was a bunch of established video game centric YouTubers such as Scott the Woz, Dashi, Angry Video Game Nerd, the Mystic of PlayStation fame, and a bunch of other dudes that I have never seen before. Which, honestly, there was something kind of cozy, comforting, and fun about watching all these different personalities show up under one video. Oh, Kadikarus was in there too. I used to watch his videos all the time. I haven't watched any of his newer videos recently, which honestly is kind of a shame because his videos, he clearly puts a lot of effort into them. They are very funny, and I mean, to be fair, last I watched them, I was in my mid-teens, so I'd like to think that my humor has somewhat evolved since then. So if I do watch it now, I'm kind of afraid that what I'll see is something that's not like as good as I remember, But I guess the only way to find out would be to watch one of his newer videos and one of his older videos. I mean, when I do stuff like that, I always just have this nostalgic place in my heart for it anyways. So I'm maybe blinded by nostalgia and I have a more difficult time viewing it through a more objective lens. His videos are just, in my opinion, really cozy and fun to watch. Well, anyways, it was just really cool seeing all these different gaming-centric YouTubers show up in this video talking about what were the best games of the year, including games like Expedition 33, Hollow Knight Silksong, what else? Different streamers. So much. I think it's... And also, another thing that I found interesting was that GameStop wasn't afraid to let these gaming personality types or make fun of them, because they were basically saying, "What? I'm trading all these games in for only $6 or $20 of store credit? Yeah, it's ridiculous." And I do agree. I think if you want to sell your games, games that are physical copies, there are a lot of collectors out there who'd be willing to pay like a decent price for them. It's much better to just sell your games on eBay because you're more likely to get a bigger return from your investment than trading your games at GameStop, where they're gonna give you like such a small amount. And I don't even think they like sell any like old like legacy games anyway. Like I don't last time I was in a GameStop, which was probably like a year or two ago, and it was one that doesn't even exist anymore. They took that GameStop out that I used to attend. Like all I saw was games from PS4 upward. There was nothing that was like down above PS4. And I thought the whole appeal of GameStop was, oh, you mean I can like go to the past and explore these games from previous generations? That's awesome. But I guess they don't hold older games anymore because they don't think like there's a market for them. But I don't know. I feel like there's no longer going to be a market for GameStops unless they appeal to both old school and new school gamers. So yeah, and stop giving them such a low return on investment. Like, I know it's more expensive and their business is kind of sinking anyways, and they're gonna try to claw any dollar they can save. But just a thought, like, if the game, like, the rare and more, like, collectible it is, just give it a little more money. I don't know. I guess they don't think that deeply into it. GameStop rant over. Anywho, I didn't finish this video because my sister stopped to ask me for help taking gravel that was in our front yard that we had taken buckets and moved from one location to here a while back, like I think during this summer. And she wanted me to take that gravel that we already spent so much time and energy obtaining and put it into the little, pocket that we created, the path. So I agreed because I wasn't really doing much but watching the video anyways. And we got started on that. And before we even got started, my sister already took all of the gravel that my mom bought this morning and spread it all across the area that we dug up. So that was pretty cool to see. We were basically adding the finishing touches with what gravel that we already had. It did feel nice to be involved in that, for sure. Now, when we were finishing up with that, one of our neighbors came by, and my sister and him were talking, and earlier, like 2 days ago, I don't know if I mentioned this or not, but my mom decided to get some mulch that was free, but the catch is that the mulch we got is like a truckload of mulch, which means like now we've got a whole lot of mulch in our front yard, and we don't really know what to do with it. So we told our neighbor who's a gardener that he's welcome to as much mulch as he likes. So he's taken the mulch and he's used in his garden. I guess my sister invited him over to check out what project we're working on. And he actually was offering money for the mulch that we just gave him for free, because he said like before he would have had to wait in line at a store and gotten it in packages instead of just having conveniently nearby his house. We of course declined his offer because we didn't feel it was necessary to obtain any money from him, because it was a nice gesture done by my mom, and if anyone were to be entitled to that cash, it would be my mom anyways. So, but even then, I think she would just say, no, keep the money. We're just giving it for free. You don't have to worry about it. And we didn't feel like it was our place to take any money anyway, so we declined the offer as well. Then he left to continue gardening, and then me and my sister had a nice conversation. It was pretty cool. And finally, I told her that I needed to get ready for work. So I went off to take a shower, get dressed, and leave. And I drove off. Eventually, when I arrived at work, I was given the first duty of just being in the front end. The second hour was spent doing lot, which I enjoy. Then I spent a 10-minute break doing some breath work, which was nice and relaxing. After which, I went downstairs and I realized that I was now responsible for doing sweeps for the next 2 hours. So that's what I did. I would sweep the floors and make sure everything was nice and tidy. Of course, I was asked by one of our cashiers to ensure that we had receipt tape, and he told me that the receipt tape may be in the office, or no, he said it may be in the liquor cabinet. So I went to ask one of my co-bosses about it, and they decided to check with me. We both checked the liquor cabinet. There was no receipt tape in there. We checked the office. There was no receipt tape there either. I had to tell one of my co-bosses who I was going to ask to open the liquor cabinet, who was busy doing something at the time before he could help out, that we found out that there was no receipt tape in the liquor cabinet, and I asked where he believed it may possibly be. He said it may be against the wall in the back room. So I checked, and I did find it, but it was hiding behind a large, heavy pallet of Coca-Colas. So I had to squeeze and contort my body in a way where I could pick up the receipt tape so I could take it out and put it in a grocery store cart and roll that to the front and refill the receipt tape on all of the check stands. So that worked out pretty well. I was also asked to bring a bunch of our brown paper bags to the front because we were running low on brown paper bags. So I agreed to do that too. I brought about 3 bags worth to the front, and I was starting to fill them up, but before I could, I needed to take a few orders out to the front of the store. So that's exactly what I did. I took the orders out. I would do my best to fill the check stands with both receipt tape and also the bags. And on top of that, I also had to do my sweep. So it was pretty involved, but I got it done. Then I had to punch out, and because my shift today was 3 to 11, I didn't have time to drive home to make lunch. So I decided to buy lunch at work instead. I got the Healthy Choice beef and teriyaki bowl with riced cauliflower. I also got 2 Celsiuses because they were being sold for 2 for $4, and normally you have to spend $3 to buy one, so I thought that was a pretty good deal. And finally, I got a Quest chips. When I went to get them, it looked like all the hot Quest chips were gone. Luckily, I moved the box that holds all the Quest spicy chips, and there was one hiding in the back waiting for me. So I bought that one. I remember one of the cashiers was giving me a hard time because I've been talking about being on my diet for a while, and they stated, "Hey, that's not healthy. Those are chips." I'm like, "No, you don't understand. They're only 4 grams of net carbs." It's like, "Oh, look at all these ingredients. That's probably no good." And I was like, no. So yeah, that was pretty funny. I took my food, I went up to the break room, and I heated it up. And as I was heating it up, I was simply just waiting for it to be ready. The instructions on the back of on the box stated to wait an extra minute after it's been done cooking so that way you don't burn yourself. So I set my timer on my phone for 1 minute before eventually taking it out and mixing it and trying it out. Overall thoughts? It's okay, but once again, you can definitely tell it is frozen food reheated through the microwave because the flavor's deadened. It's got more of a mushy texture, and overall, it's just kind of bland overall, which is a real shame. Especially since it cost me like I think like $4. No, I think it was $5. So yeah, I mean, hey, I guess it was cheap, but was it good? It was serviceable, but in all honesty, tomorrow I have another 3 to 11. It would be a good idea if I made a sandwich and prepackaged some nuts as well and a water bottle and just had that instead because this was not really an appealing option, and it overall the cost was $12. So that's that adds up over time because it wasn't. It was this week I had another 3 to 11 shift, and I also spent like around $10. That's $22 that I've spent eating at work. That's kind of a lot, yeah. So tomorrow I'm gonna make a point to make food for work and put it away in a little Tupperware. All right, well, when that was done, and I decided I was originally planning on saving my second Celsius drink for tomorrow, but then I decided to just drink it anyways. I mean, probably wasn't a good idea considering it has caffeine in it, but and it's late, and I'm trying to get better at my adhering to my circadian rhythm, which I've been neglectful of very recently. So the fact I did that was just not smart at all. In fact, I thought, well, maybe if I drink 2 Celsius drinks, maybe it'll double my fat burning process. Because the whole point of Celsius is it's supposed to speed up your metabolism and help you burn fat. And of course, I'm on a diet right now where I'm trying to burn fat. So logically, I think, well, ketosis plus Celsius equals faster fat loss, right? So that was my logic. I would later, on my second break, ask Google Gemini if drinking 2 Celsiuses would double my chances of burning weight faster, and it said no. And then I asked, well, if I drink Celsius while also being on ketosis, would that double my chances of burning fat faster? And it also gave an unsure answer of like, it's extremely variable and it's on a person by person basis is basically its answer. So I don't know. Maybe I'll be one of the people who loses a lot of weight from this idea. We'll see. Well, anyways, after returning back from lunch, I spent most of the first half hour I was put on sweeps. We originally had another co-worker who was supposed to be on sweeps during that hour, but they left early, and I didn't know why they left early. They just left early. So I was given the bulk of their responsibilities. Well, to be fair, like, which really wasn't that much. It was what I was going to do anyways. So saying that sounds like they had a lot of stuff to do and now I had to do it, but no, that's not true. It's just we both have to do the same stuff, but now I've got to do more of the same stuff is a better way to put it. So I did exactly what I was gonna do. I did my sweeps, and then I had sweeps for like the last 4 hours of the day, or I guess 3.5 hours. And I got a call from my mom during my lunch break. She asked me if I could get 10 jalapeno peppers from work. And then I said yes, because she's planning on making a tamale pie, and she needs those spicy peppers to help spice it up. So I decided to spend my last break quickly getting the jalapenos, buying them, and then running to my car, because it was parked quite far away, putting them in, and then walking back, well, speaking with Gemini about the Celsius question. Once that was all done, I went into the store. I did a few finishing touches. For example, I put the last bit of receipt tape in check stand 1. I filled out the rest of the bags with 2 paper bag boxes. More, not really boxes, they were more like, they were covered in paper themselves, like they were paper wrapped. Interesting. And I asked my other coworker who was there if he could help me wipe 3 check stands down, which he did, which I was very grateful for. I wiped down 3 check stands myself. 4 check stands. 5, 4, 3, and 2. Or 1, I mean. 5, 4, 3, 1. And finally, I closed the produce blinds, cleared lot, brought 16 carts in, brought in the signs, and and I threw out the trash as well. As I was wiping down the check stands, I decided to ask my boss, one of my co-managers, a question, because I was curious. And the question was, how did he get into the boss position? And what pointers could I get from what he's learned to maybe improve myself? He said that you need to be good at time management. So you always need to be aware of the time and how you're spending it, so you're spending it properly and not poorly. He said that sometimes it can act a little or a lot. So, well, okay, maybe not a lot, but I can act animated quite a bit, and that even though like he says he likes that, he also says that in order to be seen as someone who can be more professional and respectable, you need to lower that down and be more calm and level-headed and professional. Well, he didn't say level-headed, but just calm and professional. I added that part. So that was good info, and it really helped me reconsider my approach, because I have been a courtesy clerk for a while now, and I feel like eventually I should move up, and that doing the same thing day in day out, it is starting to get a bit tiresome, I will admit. And I feel like I need to start focusing on my growth. And one of the first things I need to do is focus on how I come across and how I can, be more mature, I guess you could say. So yeah, that was some good advice that I really, I think I really needed. Yeah. After I was done, I wiped down my last check stand. I put my vest away. I said goodbye to my boss, one of my co-bosses, and a coworker who has been working at the store for a while, who does the night shift currently. And then I walked over to my car and I was going to listen to something on my drive home, but for whatever reason, my Wi Fi was not working. That had me very concerned. I was like, wait, am I not paying for a phone service that gives me data to use? Why is it not working? So I spent some time trying to reconnect the Wi-Fi, and no matter how many times I did, it just wouldn't work. So I drove off home in my car in silent frustration. And eventually when I got back home and parked in the front late at night around 11:15 p.m., I was able to connect to my home's Wi-Fi right outside, and I immediately went on my Verizon app to see what was going on, and it said that my service was um, not being allowed because I wasn't paying for it, which confuses me because I had this similar problem happen back in October where it just randomly decided, because I have auto pay for Verizon because I need my phone to make phone calls kind of important. So I'm like, okay, I'll just put on auto pay. And the cool thing about auto pay is you get cash off with each subsequent auto pay. But when it wasn't responding, first time this happened in October, I had to restart the service, and I had to pay $40 again because the service was disrupted before my loyalty discount could kick in the next month, which I thought was unfair because I never clicked the stop auto pay feature ever. So the fact it just randomly decided to stop without me knowing it stopped had me concerned. I was going to call Verizon, but I got lazy and I just didn't bother doing it. Now I am going to make a point of calling them tomorrow around 10:30 a.m. to get to the bottom of this, because I don't think it's fair that their service is dropping out without my knowledge or consent, and I'm now forced to pay $40 again for a service that I was getting a loyalty discount for. I think that's a big bunch of baloney, in my opinion. So I need to get to the bottom of this. I need to talk to a human representative, and I need to see what I can do to solve this issue. So yeah, after I paid for this month because I need my phone service no matter what, so I needed to pay for it. I went to the house and I thought to myself, normally I sit on the TV or I go on my phone and I just mindlessly browse my YouTube feed or whatever. I think I'm gonna get some good old-fashioned paper and pencil and plan out my day tomorrow. Because I'm kind of because that whole conversation I had with one of my co-managers tonight really did have somewhat of an impact on me, because it made me reconsider and reevaluate how I've been spending my time, because he said one of the most important things you need to do is be better at time management if you want to be someone who can move up on in the company. And I'm terrible with time management right now. Most of the time I just entertain myself. I don't teach myself a new skill. I'm not going to college right now. And I'm thinking there's an awakening in me that I need to adhere to if I want to grow and become a better version of myself. And I feel like I've kind of been stuck in a time loop because I keep on repeating the same non-growing actions day in, day out for forever, for a while now. In fact, when I opened my journal that I was going to plan my next day in, I was looking at an entry from a year ago, and it was pretty much saying the exact same thing I'm saying right now, where I realize that I dedicate a lot of time on my phone and I'm not being really responsible with my time, and that I feel really bad about. I want to do something about that. And that was a year ago. And a year's passed, nothing's really changed, and that's honestly kind of scary. So I need to wake up or be left behind. All right, well, after I planned out my day, and I decided I should wake up at 8:30 and get a good amount of things done, such as checking my weight, getting hydrated, getting sunlight, doing stretches, doing exercise, eating a good meal, and then afterwards working on my infinite jest animatic, then working on editing a project that I had to restart because of my phone's difficulties, and then going for a break. And then after the break, I would work on my Brain Jam video for an hour, and then I would continue to work on my Infinite Jest Animatic for about a half hour, and then afterwards I would do a little review of how I feel about what I've accomplished and what I can do better next time. Then after that, get ready for work, and then leave. And when I come back, make a plan for tomorrow, take my vitamins, brush my teeth, make the vlog, and then go to bed while listening to binaural beats. So that's pretty much my day tomorrow that I have planned out. Let's see if I go through with it or if I ignore it and choose to just entertain myself again and be stuck in the loop that I've created for myself. I'm going to do everything on that list. Just you wait and see. Otherwise, I'm going to record my next vlog and look like a fool. Do I want to look like a fool, or do I want to look like a responsible young man? We're about to find out. Well, yeah, that's pretty much my day. I took my vitamins. I was looking at myself in the mirror. I heard about this thing called mirror meditation, where if you look at yourself and you just look into your own eyes and just focus on like breathing, you start like seeing like yourself in a different way. And it's like confronting like the true version of you. I don't know if that makes any sense or it's a bunch of esoteric nonsense, but that's what I've heard. But yeah, I was looking at myself in the mirror and trying that, I guess, but didn't really get too much out of it other than that's me. And then I brushed my teeth and made this video. I almost forgot to mention, I also plan on folding my clothes tomorrow too. So yeah, let's see if all that stuff is done or if I once again am neglectful and don't do a thing. Let's see. All right. Well, of course, other than help my mom out and, go to work and entertain myself, which is currently what I've been doing. But yeah, I need to be my own boss and I need to act like a boss. So we're going to see if I act like a boss or if I am subservient to algorithms and dopamine rushes. All right, well, that's going to do it for now. Thank you for tuning in to this latest report of how my life is going and also how my diet is going. I appreciate your time, and I will see you tomorrow in the next video. Take care and good night.